The one good thing about living in Sacramento is you're only a couple hours away from a bunch of way cooler places. One of those places is San Francisco. Nowadays though, every time I drive down to SF, I have to ask myself, is this place even worth visiting anymore? Meh. So how did this stinky little city by a bay become such an important part of California? Before California was ever a US state, it had a long and extensive history. But I don't got time to get into all of that right now, so I'm gonna start us in 1846. The United States took control of California from Mexico during the Mexican-American War. The little town of Yerba Buena was renamed to San Francisco so that it can match the name of the bay that it hangs out on. And that is named after Saint Francis of Assisi. The Spanish explorers loved naming literally everything after saints. In 1848, in a small town called Coloma, James W. Marshall discovered something that would cause a huge boom in California's population. Gold! Because San Francisco is located in a geographically perfect place for ships to land, the gold rush made the population boom. It went from barely 1,000 people to 25,000 people in only 1 year. It wasn't all good in San Francisco during this time. They had major fires that destroyed a lot of the infrastructure and extremely high rates of crime. A little bit of foreshadowing for you. Once the gold rush pretty much ended in 1855, a lot of people decided to just stick around in San Francisco because they liked the vibes. They also started a lot of businesses here, like Wells Fargo. Between 1855 and now, a lot of stuff has happened to form the modern day San Francisco, like the Great Earthquake that destroyed 80% of the city, 2 world wars, hippies, the tech boom, and a bunch of other stuff that you can look up on your own free time. Outside of trying to catch diseases from public water fountains that are probably used as bidets by the homeless, there is so much stuff to do here in San Francisco. The city is pretty small, but it is packed with things, and it's super walkable. It feels like a little European city with an American twist. If you are flying in, I would not rent a car unless you plan on going outside the city, which if you do have the money and the spare time, there are so many fun little day trips that you can take from San Francisco, like Half Moon Bay, Monterey, Napa, Santa Cruz, but just try to avoid Oakland. Last time I was down there, I met a dude who was visiting San Francisco for the second time, and the first time that he came, he decided to stay in Oakland because it was a lot cheaper. On the first night, he had all his windows broken and his tires and stuff stolen. Every time I go down to San Francisco, I try to do something new. I open up Google Maps and TikTok and I see what's the new trend. But there's a couple of things that I always do when I go down there. I love the Golden Gate Park. The park is massive. It's even bigger than New York Central Park. There are a bunch of really cool museums here. Like I personally love the California Academy of Science. They also have a lot of really cool gardens like the Japanese tea garden, the botanical garden. I'm not gonna lie to you though, the tickets to some of the stuff here is so expensive. I would try to pick maybe just 2 or 3 items that seem really interesting to you and check them out because they are worth the money, especially if you're visiting here for the first time. Around the Golden Gate Park are a bunch of shops that I love to visit. Like on 9th Street, they have one of my favorite Greek spots. And a couple steps away from that is my favorite boba shop in all of California. Mission District also has more really good restaurants and stuff to do. I recently went to the spot there called Tariyama that has great matcha and Japanese sandwiches, but again, it is super expensive for what it is. I just recently went to Tokyo last year and the sandwiches there, same sandwich would be like $2-3, and here in that restaurant was like $20. But it is good, and if you never had them before, I would definitely try to get one. If you hop on a bus and go across town, you can see the Palace of Fine Arts. This is a pretty cool building to see in person, but honestly, I don't bother coming here anymore because I've just seen it so many times, and when you see it once, you've kind of seen everything. And the last time I was here, I saw someone get their car jacked. So if you plan on renting a car, just do not park in this area. Take the public transit, take an Uber or one of those self-driving cars. Walk around this area for like an hour or 2 and just go somewhere else. Right next to the spot is the Golden Gate Bridge. The bridge is awesome to see in person, and I definitely recommend checking it out, especially if you flew halfway across the planet to see the city. It's an iconic landmark. I don't really get the people who say it's overrated. Yeah, it's just a bridge, but the thing is so cool to see. But when you want to check it out, you gotta be careful. If it's foggy, you're not gonna see the bridge. San Francisco has these things called microclimates, so even if it's sunny in Mission District, it's gonna be foggy at the bridge. Japantown is also another really cool neighborhood to explore from here. It's the closest that you're gonna be to Japan in the continental US, both geographically and culturally. I love Japantown. It has great vibes and you can spend hours just exploring all the little shops and trying the food. Chinatown is another iconic neighborhood in SF. I personally just don't really like Chinatown. There's some cool stuff to see here, but I just feel like it's super touristy and kind of overrated. But if you've never seen it, I would check it out. I mean, it is the first ever Chinatown in the US, which is pretty cool. The piers are probably the most touristy parts of San Francisco. These little fingers of the city are overpriced and they smell like pee. Some piers are really cool to visit, but most are honestly just a waste of time. The most famous one, Pier 39, is pretty cool. You get to see the seals, but the only place that I really like in this area is the ferry building, because on the weekend they have this really big farmers market. This has some of the best food that I've ever had. Outside of the ferry market, do not spend any money here. Just take some photos with the seals, enjoy the view of the prison, and go somewhere else to eat and hang out after. I would not spend so much time here because San Francisco just has way cooler places to see and be at. There's so much more stuff to do in San Francisco, but I'm not trying to list out every single possible location, and I also just haven't experienced every crack and corner of the city yet. Some bonus stuff though that I like visiting is the Koi Tower, Alcatraz, and some of the other parks and neighborhoods. There is so much stuff to do here, man. It is hard to talk about San Francisco without addressing the biggest elephant in the room. Is San Francisco safe? Will you be stabbed with a crack needle walking down the pier? Will you be harassed by gangs of zombie-like homeless people? Will your car get broken into? Honestly, it depends on where you go. There are a couple of areas of San Francisco that I would just completely avoid if I was risk adverse or had my family or kids with me, like the Tenderloin. The Tenderloin honestly feels like Gotham City. It's filled with crazy zombie-like people, and it is honestly really sad to see. And it also sucks because right on the border of this place is my favorite restaurant in all of San Francisco, Mencho Ramen. Mencho is the reason why I come to San Francisco 9 times out of 10. The broth is amazing. The cashew is incredible. The noodles are divine. Mencho, please sponsor me. I already tell all my friends and family to go here whenever they ask me where to go in SF. I'd be willing to even walk around with a Mencho hat if you guys gave me one. I love the ramen here, and I even love them more than all the ramen I had on my trip to Tokyo last year. And as shitty as the Tenderloin is, Mencho keeps making me come back and back and back. And even if my car gets broken into, I'm still coming back to Mencho. The city is definitely improving though. I have been seeing significantly fewer homeless people and crazy looking people over the last year, and it feels, it's a lot safer. Hopefully Xi Jinping can visit us some more and get the city even cleaner.
I know folks say, oh, they're just cleaning up this place because all those fancy leaders are coming into town. That's true.
San Francisco holds a special place in my heart. I used to live in the Bay Area as a kid, and I still visit San Francisco all the time. I visit SF at least once a month at this point. It's only like an hour and a half away from me, and I'm even gonna go there again next Tuesday. I really do recommend visiting San Francisco. It is such a cool city. I know it has a bad rep online. Everyone says all the crazy people, all the zombie people, and yeah, some parts are not safe. Just avoid like Mission Street, and as long as you're cautious and you're making sure you're not going to sketchy areas, you'll be fine. Just don't leave important stuff in your car. If you're gonna take a car, get insurance. Look where your hotel is. Just try to be cautious. The food is also just so good in San Francisco. They have everything, all kinds of food. Georgian food, Chinese food, Japanese food. Every single kind of food is here, and it's super good. Even if San Francisco gets literally flooded by zombies, I'm still gonna go just for the food. The food down there is incredible. I love visiting San Francisco, and if you know the risks, maybe you will too. If you live in SF and you want to share some thoughts, maybe, hey, actually this area is really nice, or hey, you should have done this or you should have done that. I didn't feel like going over every single thing just because there is a lot to do there. It's more fun to discover it on your own instead of having someone else tell you. But I would love to know what actual locals think. Yeah, I'm only an hour away, but I'm not really a local. But do you feel safe living there if you happen to live there? Is it worth that rent? I know rent for you guys is like $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 for a small little broom closet. And what other spots do you guys recommend visiting? I'll definitely be returning to San Francisco, of course. The airport that I fly out of for all my international flights is in SF, so I'm always here for that as well. And again, that food is just so good. Thank you for watching.
Don't forget to subscribe.